What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Man Down podcast is back, man. Let's talk about some LeBron James and his fans and the famous Bron language that we're gonna talk about, man. I'm gonna let a couple of y'all get in here, man. And I'm gonna also say if you haven't subscribed already and you're seeing this for the first time, and go ahead and hit that subscribe button and the notification bell as well, so you can get everything whenever it drops. Um, man, this should be a good one. Because you know, with my man down group that I have on Facebook, man, it's a lot of LeBron fans in there, right? And there's a lot of people that's on the other side of the spectrum that kind of critique LeBron. I'm one of the people that like to critique him, but I also like LeBron a whole lot, man. So that's the part that people don't get about me. I got I'm real fond of LeBron. I like him. He's real good. I think he's one of the greats, one of the greatest basketball players we've ever seen. Can't deny that at all. Whether you put him 1 through 5 or 5 through 10, he's definitely somewhere in between 1 through 10. For me, he falls around the fifth spot. For me. But that's neither here nor there because it's not a video on ranking him, and it's really not even a video about him specifically. It's really about his fans. His fans are very unique, and it's hard to talk basketball and purely just basketball with LeBron fans to the point where I'm not even sure if LeBron fans like basketball more than they like LeBron. I think a lot of LeBron fans are LeBron fans first before they're basketball fans. And that's why a lot of them never played basketball, can't play basketball, probably didn't start watching basketball till LeBron got drafted. Maybe they're from Ohio or I don't know. A lot of them are football players. It's just weird. A lot of them are nerds. If you take examples of his greatest uh, people that speak for him, Shannon Sharp's a football player. Nick Wright's not an athlete at all. He's just some nerd that got into radio. And then it goes like that. So it's just very weird that you got these group of people that speak up and protect LeBron so much, but don't really have a basketball background. And that's why we get into things like this of nature where I'm trying to describe what a Bron night or Bronsexual. I don't like to say Bronsexual, but for the people who do say Bronsexual, I'm explaining to you what that is and how you can spot them and why you should probably stay away from them when it comes to debating basketball. I'm gonna get into all of that, right? Got a couple of comments in here. What's up, Mike and Chris, man? Got a couple of comments in here, man. So yeah, so if you're looking at the thumbnail, you know that this video is about Bron language, and I'm explaining to you what Bron language is. Bron language. That is a unique dialect or unique language that really only Bron fans speak. And they all speak it very well. I've been observing them for a long time, so um, I'm very fluent in Bron language as well. So, how to spot a Bron fan? If you're ever debating them about basketball, about the GOAT, anything of that nature, right? The first thing that give you an indication that you're talking to a bronsexual is that they always blame. The B in Bron is for blame or bash. Blame or bash. Bron fans love to blame and bash everything around him for his failures. They blame his teammates. They blame his coaches. They even blame his opponents for his failures. And I'm going to tell you what that sounds like, right? So you can be talking to a LeBron fan and you could be debating who's the GOAT, right? And then you might bring up, well, look, man, this one guy, Michael Jordan, 6-0 in the finals, right? LeBron's 4-6. That's a big difference, right? And then they start going to the blame. that would say things like D Wade was washed, so he couldn't help him. They'll say things like Chris Bosh wasn't that good, or Kevin Love was trash, or J.R. Smith was trash. They would say he never had a legit coach like Michael Jordan had with Phil Jackson, which is crazy because Ty Lue just got, not Ty Lue, but Eric Spoelstra just got named by the NBA as a top 15 coach of all time. So the very interesting thing about that coaching argument is they don't acknowledge that, they don't acknowledge that Michael Jordan had a first year coach with Phil Jackson. Phil Jackson, his first year coaching was the Bulls. He was an assistant. He did some coaching overseas, but as far as NBA, his first coaching job was with the Bulls. He was a rookie coach, and then, they progressed every year. I think they had him 1 year, maybe got to the second round. Next year, got to the conference final against Detroit. And then the next year, they had the conference final. And I think they finally got over the hump with Detroit, so, and then after that, smooth sailing, but it's the same thing with Spoelstra. Spoelstra came in. D Wade had some dealings with him, so D Wade vouched for him. But he was a good coach, and no one wanted to give him credit, especially not LeBron fans. They didn't want to give Eric Spoelstra credit. Now you can't take that credit away because the NBA has stamped him and said top 15 coach of all time in the same boat with Phil Jackson, right? Then you look at Ty Lue and the job he's doing this year and the job he did with the Cleveland Cavaliers, and they even said that the only reason why Ty Lue was successful is because LeBron was there. But now that they see Ty Lue is doing it now, they actually seen him doing a real good coaching job. If they come out with another list of coaches, the next 15, I expect Ty Lue to be on there, right? So when they do the blame game with the coaches, they don't have a leg to stand on anymore. But they still will blame his teammates. If they miss a game-winning shot, they blame it. Like, even if you take it now, with the Lakers struggling right now, they're blaming his teammates. As a matter of fact, I got a clip for you. Here's Jason McIntyre McIntyre talking with Rick Bucher, and Rick Bucher was telling him, "Look, this stuff got to fall on LeBron." Listen to his response. Listen to him use the blame and the bash all in one.
Their numbers, not so good. He's not the same LeBron James. Certainly not defensively.
Quick, this idea that Russell Westbrook, he should get credit for not pulling a Ben Simmons and sitting out. Bro, LeBron saved his ass. He pulled him out of Washington, okay? Playing with a bunch of plumbers in Washington. And they're not going anywhere. He brought him to L.A., his hometown. So let's give LeBron credit for that. And now, Rick, I am really, you're getting on my nerves with this LeBron bashing, Rick. It's going overboard. It almost feels personal. If you go and ask Kevin Love and Chris Bosh right now, hey, guys, I know you got a lot of the blame when things went south playing with LeBron, but would you trade those championship rings to go back to Toronto, Chris Bosh, and lose in the second round every year? Or Kevin Love, go back to Minnesota where you didn't win anything? Hell no. Those guys are thankful to LeBron for bringing them to championship winning teams. Of course, listen, when things go south, somebody's getting blamed. And should you blame LeBron, who's like, I don't know, first team All-NBA every year, MVP candidate every year?
First team
LeBron
NBA
should not be blamed. I mean, look what happened against Curry and Durant in the finals. LeBron was unbelievable. He had a case, maybe, to be the finals MVP, going up against Durant when he's putting 50 points on the board, and then he breaks his hand because he's ticked off at the rest of his team. Like, guys, the LeBron bashing's got to stop. Just because he brought Westbrook over DeRozan, a mistake. LeBron would even admit that. Just because he picked Westbrook over Buddy Hield, another mistake. But, Rick, the LeBron bashing is sounding silly, dude. It's really sounding silly.
It's not bad.
Hey, you got it all in one. You got him blaming his teammates. He pretty much said that Westbrook, Bosh, Kevin Love, all those dudes should be happy that LeBron brought them over to Cleveland or whatever squad they're playing for. Said you should be happy LeBron brought you over there. And if everything goes south, LeBron deserves none of the blame. This came out of his mouth on national TV. He said LeBron deserves none of the blame. He's first team this and that and all this stuff. He said LeBron deserves none of the blame. Blame all his teammates. They all have that thought process. Blame, bash his coaches, his teammates, and then they even will say no one has faced a team as strong as the Golden State Warriors or the San Antonio Spurs. So they even blaming the opponents for being too good. His opponents are too good. His players are not good enough. His coaches are not good enough. If they lose, it's never LeBron's fault. But if they win, he gets all the praise. Blame and bash is the B in BRON language. That is exactly how you spot a bronsexual. If they're doing that, you best believe you're dealing with a bronsexual. And I advise you to run away from that debate because you're going to go in circles and circles, and it's not going to go nowhere. Bron lovers and bronsexuals love to repeat talking points that they see on TV, ESPN, Fox Sports, from Nick Wright, Shannon Sharp, Kendrick Perkins, Isaiah Thomas. They love to repeat that. And this is the thing about it. Bronsexuals don't even really watch basketball. So the things that they're repeating, that they're hearing on TV, they don't even fact check it to make sure it's right. I was in a debate with someone yesterday and last week, and the guy from last week didn't even know that Dennis Rodman wasn't part of the first three-peat. He thought Dennis Rodman was part of the first three-peat. And I'm debating this guy about basketball, a Bron lover, thinking that Dennis Rodman was on the Bulls just as long as Pippen was. Crazy, right? Then the guy yesterday told me that Michael Jordan missed the playoffs his first 3 seasons. And I'm debating this guy. And I'm like, where are y'all hearing this stuff at, right? I don't know where they're hearing it at, right? So once I checked them, of course they ran away and never came back. I haven't heard from them since, but they just cook themselves, man. They just get up in a pot of boiling hot water and just, cook their own meat off the bone. I mean, I don't even have to cook them sometimes, man. So, I mean, it's just really crazy that they don't be knowing what they're talking about, but they will repeat what they see on TV. I think the most recent thing that's been circulating around and they've been repeating is the Isaiah Thomas quotes when he's saying that as soon as LeBron, he said right now Kareem is the GOAT because he has the scoring title. He said as soon as LeBron gets the scoring title, he's the GOAT. And he tried to explain it, and he said Michael Jordan can't be the GOAT. He didn't say his name. I give him credit for that, but we know who he was referring to. He said you cannot be the GOAT if you don't lead in a statistical category. So let's apply that and see if that works. Currently, Kareem is number 1 in scoring all time. Stockton is number 1 in assists. Stockton is number 1 in steals. I want to say maybe who was number 1 in rebounds? Maybe it's possible is Wilt number 1 in rebounds. It might be somebody else. I don't know, because Wilt only played like 13 seasons, even though he got monster numbers. But I can't remember who's number 1 in rebound. So according to Isaiah, those are the only guys that can be considered for a GOAT. Stockton, Kareem, and whoever is the number 1 in rebounds. Just those guys. So when you think about the best passer ever, everybody automatically think about Magic. But according to Isaiah, he ain't even the GOAT passer. Stockton is, because Stockton has the number 1 all-time assists. So it is Wilt rebounds. Thanks, whoever just shared that with me. So Wilt is number 1 in rebounds. Got it. So Wilt, Stockton, Kareem, and those are the only ones that be considered for the GOAT, according to Isaiah, because he said you got to lead in a statistical category, right? So, but Magic is the GOAT passer to everyone. He's the GOAT point guard to everyone. But according to Isaiah, you have to consider Stockton and not Magic. Magic doesn't lead in that. I don't even think Magic's number 2 in that. Right? So if you play 20 years and the person who's best at what you're good at only plays 13 years, then we still got to put that person that played 20 years as the GOAT. Magic cut his career short because of HIV. So he only played 13 seasons or something like that. So it don't matter how good he was. It don't matter he had 5 rings. It don't matter he won a ring as a rookie. None of that matters. It don't matter he innovated the game. He's the best passer we've ever seen. None of that matter. John Stockton is the best because he has the record. Same thing with rebounding. We all think of Dennis Rodman as a great rebounder, but no, Dennis Rodman is like number 15, 16 on the rebounder list, right? Dwight Howard's got more rebounds than Dennis Rodman. It's a lot. Mutombo might got more rebound Rodman. So we can't consider Rodman the GOAT rebounder, not at all. Now, obviously for rebounder, that's got to go to Wilt easily. But if it wasn't for Wilt, Rodman couldn't even be in that conversation according to Isaiah. And then for scoring, what he's saying is that if you don't lead in scoring, you can't even be considered the best scorer. So we all look at people like Kevin Durant, Kobe, Michael Jordan. It's the best scorers we ever seen. You can throw Kareem in there as well. But what he's saying is, but if they're not number one, you can't consider them. And you can't consider anyone for the GOAT that don't lead in any statistical category. So there's only 4 people that can be considered. And pretty much what it means, you have to play 20 years. Because if you don't play 20 years, you're not touching none of those records. You're not touching Kareem, Stockton, or Wilt's record unless you play 20 years. And Michael Jordan played 11 years for the Bulls. I'm lying. 13 years for the Bulls and 2 years for the Wizards, right? Now, that's 15 years. 1 year, he was out for the whole season for his broken foot. 1 year, he was playing baseball. He came back with 17 games left before the playoffs. So they don't, it's 2 years off right there. And in the third year, his first year, he played a little bit more than half the season his first year with the Wizards, but he had the messed up knee and he was getting it drained. He had, had to have surgery. So those are 3 years. That's really not even 4 years, right? So, a lot of people like to say he played between 12 and 13 years. 13, I'm going with 13, right? I'm going with 13. So 13, Wilt played about 13 as well. If we're all good and I play 13 and you play 20, how you expect me to have some type of record? And why the heck would you put having a record so high as to determine who's the better basketball player? That makes no sense. It don't matter how many records you break. If you played 20 years to break it, that doesn't make you better than someone else at that statistical category. It just doesn't. It doesn't, man. Let me get to some of these comments real quick. But yeah, that's the R in BRON language. The B is they like to bash, and they like to hold on. They like to blame, and they like to bash their teammates or LeBron's teammates and his coaches and even his opponents. The R, they repeat everything they hear and see on TV without even fact checking it. All right, let me get to these comments. If this platform was available when Mike was in DC back in 2001, would he be the focus of all of this? If social media was what it was when he was, yes, the way Mike was playing in Washington when he was 39 and 40 years old, the way he was playing, okay, so this is what I remember about Mike and the Wizards, right? I remember him being retired for almost 3 years. I remember him wanting to own a team, but there wasn't no team available. So he decided to go into the front office of the Wizards, take that job. And, that was his way of getting back to basketball some way, somehow. If you're not old enough to remember what was going on at that time, they had drafted Kwame Brown and Brandon Haywood the same year. I think Eton Thomas was a backup. They had Ty Lue. They had Rip Hamilton, Popeye Jones, players like that, right? Not all-stars. I mean, Rip Hamilton was looking like a bust, and that might have been the biggest name that they had, but it was like his first or second, his second year. He was looking real bad, right? And the Wizards was looking bad as a squad, period. And in the paper, Michael Jordan was documented as saying the team doesn't play with any heart. And part of him coming out of retirement to play with them was to show them how to play with heart. He didn't step down and say, I want to win a championship, because if he would have did that, then he would have tried to make trades and get some all-stars, or, get some people in there to help. Nah, he came down there with Kwame Brown, Brandon Haywood, Ty Lue, Rick Hamilton, and was like, I'm going to show y'all how to play. And I will never forget that the commentators in one of the first or second games that he played, and MJ dived for a loose ball around half court. At that time, he was 38 going on 39, dived on the floor, right? And it was like, this is the first time we've seen any Wizard player this season dive on the floor. And they were just talking about, he was just there to teach them how to play basketball, not to win a championship, not to chase Kareem's record, none of that, right? So that's a different motivation. And we all wanted to see MJ because we didn't want him to retire when they had won that championship. He still had juice left to squeeze. So when he came back, we were just happy to see him play and to see his famous fadeaway and see him out there giving. We didn't expect him to go to no championship. He wasn't chasing a record. That's different for LeBron. LeBron is obviously chasing a record, and he said he's chasing a record. And he don't have a squad full of Rip Hamilton in his second year, Kwame Brown and Brandon Haywood and Popeye Jones and Ty Lue. He don't have a squad like that. He has 4 top 75 players of all time on his squad. And I'm saying 4 because we know Dwight deserves to be in there. He's got Melo, Dwight, AD, Westbrook, and LeBron makes 5 top 75 players of all time on one squad. 2 of them are in their prime. One of them, Melo, is still playing. He might be past his prime, but Melo's playing daggone good. He has a team on paper that is ready to contend, and they're not contending. However, in their losses, LeBron is still focused on getting Kareem's record, and he's standing the games to stat pad. So that's the difference between Mike coming back to play at 38, 39, 40, and LeBron continue to play and letting everybody know, I'm trying to get a record. I done made the Lakers trade away all their draft picks so I can get all these superstars, and I can't do nothing with it. I'm 6 games below 500. Totally different. Totally different. He gets no blame because he carries the load and does his part 90% of the time. When has he failed? Did you know he was 4-6 in the finals? Like, is that a real question? You said, when has he failed? Do you know he's 4-6 in the finals? I mean, we can count plenty of times when he's failed. Now, when he's not failed is A, when he has a super team, and B, I mean, if you want to talk about the bubble, I mean, some people don't count that, but you can't say he doesn't fail, and him doing his part 90% of the time. What does that mean? Like, what leader of a team doesn't do their part 90%? You said 90% of the time he do his part. Shoot, what you think it was for MJ? How often did MJ do his part? You said 90, and you bragging about 90? Man, come on, man. You bragging about 90, man. 90% of the time he do his part. Come on, man. Now, last night was phenomenal for LeBron. 56 points, 6 threes. I mean, I like that game from him. He only had 3 assists. So instead of him trying to do everything, he played more like a scorer. He played more like Kobe MJ style. I'm off the ball. I'm going to allow a point guard to actually be a point guard, and I'm just going to be a scoring threat, which he did. That was phenomenal, man. If he could play like that, shoot, he might be number 5 on my list instead of 7. Or whatever. I might put him past Bird. Cook that on meat off the bone. Yeah, man, for sure, man. Man, come on, man. Open the stream yard, Mel. It's Marvin. All right. Let me put the stream link in there real quick, man. I'll let y'all join after I finish explaining what BRON-Language is, man. Let me explain what BRON-Language is. I'm gonna let y'all in here and let y'all cook a little bit, man. What's up, Bird? LeBron the GOAT of turnovers. Facts. He's number one of all time. He got that record already. It didn't take him long to get that record. What's up, Ryan? Magic is number 6 in assists. And we still think of him as the assist king. Do we not, Mike? Is Magic still the assist king, or are you giving it to one of the 5 guys that's above him? Because we know the only reason why Magic don't have that record is because he didn't play 20 years. Just think about Mike. He is number 4 or 5 in scoring. I want to say Kobe, Dirk, LeBron, Karl Malone, and Kareem might be ahead of him, or he might be ahead of Dirk. Dirk might be right on him. So he's 4 or 5, right? And he did that in really 13 years of work, right? 13 years. When LeBron and Kobe passed him, they both was at around year 15 when they passed him. LeBron passed him his first year in LA. So he's at year 19 now. Last year it was 18. The bubble was 17. So yeah, the first year was 16. He was at his year 16. It took him 16 years to pass Mike, and something he did. Well, I say 15, but minus the 2 years he missed. He missed 2 whole seasons completely, because they're adding in that 15 years. The year he broke his foot and he only played 15 games, and the year he came back wearing number 45 and he played 17 games. So I'm gonna say 13 years he did all that work, and it took Bron 16 years to break his record in scoring. So imagine averaging 30 plus points, not retiring and again, he retired for 2 years, not retiring 2 years, and you still scoring those points. He probably would have passed Kareem very easily if that was Michael's goal, was to get the scoring title, and he could have just kept playing and kept trying to get the scoring title. He didn't have to tell the Bulls organization that if you don't bring back Phil and Scottie Pippen, then I'm going to retire. He could have said, well, if you don't bring back Phil and Scottie Pippen, I'm just going to go to another team and just handpick superstars and play with them and get more rings, because I want to eventually pass Kareem, and I want to get close to Bill with the rings. He didn't do that. He got 6 and his job was done. He was like, all right, I'm good. I'm all ready to go. Everybody consider me the GOAT. I ain't gonna keep playing trying to prove I'm the GOAT. Everybody said I'm the GOAT already. Right? So he didn't do that. I mean, if he would have did what LeBron did, he would have left the Bulls, and wherever Phil went, which ended up being the Lakers, he could have went to the Lakers with Shaq. I don't know if they still draft Kobe at that point, if they got Mike and Shaq. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. But imagine you say, all right, I'm gonna get the top 2, top 3 big men in the league. I'm gonna join him and chase more rings, because that's what LeBron did. He went to the Lakers and said, let me get top 2, top 3 big men in the league, which was Anthony Davis at the time, and said, let me chase more rings. Right. And before he did that, he said, let me leave Wade because his knee's getting bad, and let me go with this young cat, Kyrie, who was a top 2, top 3 point guard in the league, and let me get more rings. Oh, and by the way, bring Kevin Love over here. You know, it's different when you can leave a team when their salary cap is in a bad situation, and your second star is getting older. Like Michael's second star was getting older than Pippen. They both was getting old, but he still wanted to play with Pippen. They tried to trade Pippen for T-Mac. He vetoed that. He didn't allow them to do that. He always said, I want to play with Pippen and Phil. I don't care what you do with everybody else, but Pippen stays, right? That was his thing. If he had the mind of LeBron, he would have just looked over there and was like, oh man, if I join them, I can get more rings. Imagine it. Imagine leaving the squad, handpicking a squad, handpicking your stars, and then getting to go out there, get a go at it. And then as soon as that gets stale, you can go and handpick another squad, and you still got 4 rings. And one of those rings had to be a bubble, or you wouldn't even have that. You only have 3. It's kind of hard to compare those things, right? Let me keep going, right? Let me keep going. So they like to repeat things they see on TV. Also, the O in Bron, BRO, overly sensitive. LeBron fans, Bronites, Bronsexuals are overly sensitive. Let me give you an example of what I mean when I say overly sensitive. Listen to Nick Wright break down like a snowflake under the heat, almost in tears, about to have a nervous breakdown because he didn't like the facts that was being shared. Listen to this.
Eye test tells you that the eye test just tells you that Michael Jordan is the best, a better defender. He guards his man night in and night out.
I reject that, but that's fine.
Well, you like LeBron because he runs on the break and blocks shots from behind. And I'm not taking nothing from LeBron. That's great hustle. He made a great, unbelievable block to save the finals for them.
Jordan was third best defender on his own team. Jordan was third best defender on his own team, Antoine. Rodman and Pippen were better defenders, and you know it.
That's not true.
You were there. You know it. Ron Harper was right there with him. Rodman and Pippen were the better defenders. And you guys, I'm gonna lose it on some of these things.
Did Pippen win? Was Pippen ever Defensive Player of the Year?
No, again, you keep going to all these things that you in the media voted on because you guys were all brainwashed. But hold on a second.
Hey, bro. Hey, every time I hear that, man, did you hear that, yo? Did you? No, please, bro. Please. Did y'all hear that? Did y'all hear that? Seriously. They're overly sensitive. They all are like that. They seriously, they all are like that. And if you look, I can't make this up, man. I cannot make this up. They're overly sensitive. Here's another example. Hey, man, I'm a Bron fan, and seeing my favorite player portrayed like that every time I come to make posts, it's hard to do. You feel me? This is someone telling me, hey, man, can you change the profile picture because you picking on LeBron? Like his feelings, like they're overly sensitive, man. It's hard to debate that because we like to we seriously like to go back and forth. It's fun. It's fun. I don't care if you think LeBron is the GOAT and I think someone else is the GOAT. It's fun to have this debate because I like basketball and I like debating and having this conversation, man. It's a hobby to just sit back and talk. We don't play as much as we do. Like we used to be able to get this aggression out on the court because we played every day. I get to come out there and talk trash. I ain't got no other way to talk trash, man. So I would like to be able to talk trash to someone that's not going to pull the sensitivity card on me and make me be like, all right, man. So I mean, I gotta fall back because I don't want to lose a friend or something like that. They're just overly sensitive. Look, I gotta play that again, bro. Did you hear that?
Eye test tells you that the eye test just tells you that Michael Jordan is the best, a better defender. He guards his man night in and night out.
I reject that, but that's fine.
Well, you like LeBron because he runs on the break and blocks shots from behind. And I'm not taking nothing from LeBron. That's great hustle. He made a great, unbelievable block to save the finals for them.
Jordan was third best defender on his own team. Jordan was third best defender on his own team, Antoine. Rodman and Pippen were better defenders, and you know it.
That's not true.
You were there. You know it. Ron Harper was right there with him. Rodman and Pippen were the better defenders. And you guys, I'm gonna lose it on some of these things.
Did Pippen win? Was Pippen ever Defensive Player of the Year?
No, again, you keep going to all these things that you in the media voted on because you guys were all brainwashed. But hold on a second.
He said it was brainwashed. he said Michael Jordan got Defensive Player of the Year over Pippen because people was brainwashed. Oh my God, he lost it. But that's how they usually are, overly sensitive. I don't know if I can beat this dead horse and drive it home. It is what it is, man. Bron fans, they play the blame game. They bash their own LeBron's teammates and coaches. They repeat things that they see on TV without fact checking it, and they're overly sensitive. And last but not least, LeBron fans go by the numbers only rule. We're not going to consider anything when we having this debate and we're talking about whether someone is good or better or had a good game. The only thing we're going to use is the numbers only. The numbers only. They're like Isaiah Thomas said, as long as he get number one and he get past Wilt or Kareem for the scoring, that makes him the GOAT. That makes no sense. That makes no sense. One guy played 20 years or 21 years he might end up playing, and the other guy played 15 and 13 if you don't count the years he missed the whole season. 13 years versus 20 years. And you trying to tell me an all-time scoring record is going to decide who the better basketball player is. We can't really just look at the game and just talk about basketball. Like, I don't hear them talk about mid-range. I don't hear talk about footwork. I don't hear them talk about really defending and stopping the man. I don't hear them talk about none of the intangibles. I don't hear them talk about the final points of the game. Like, I always use this example. If we're talking about boxing or martial arts, and you have to master a skill to earn a belt. How many belts would LeBron have? Would he be a black belt? I mean, did he master free throws? No. Did he master playing off the ball? No. Did he master the mid-range, the post? No. Is his footwork still robotic? Meaning the way he looks the way Deontay Wilder punches. You got Michael Jordan's textbook, picture perfect form, follow through, release, jump shot. You got that. It's just like artwork. You got that, and then you got LeBron leaning to his left, right, on every shot. It looks wild. He's shooting on his way down from his jump shot. It's just, and he can't do it mid-range style. That's his jump shot is the Deontay Wilder version of his punch, versus Michael Jordan being somebody's like Mayweather or Bruce Lee. It's effective, picture perfect. It's down pat. Which player was in the gym the longest perfecting their art? How many things did he master? How many holes does he still have in his game? That's the type of things I want to talk about, because we're talking about actual basketball. Taking it from someone who practiced and went in the gym by himself and tried to get up 1,000 jump shots to perfect something, was in there doing the Tom Shepard and doing moves and practicing footwork and watching Elijah Wan and doing all this stuff. Now, you know what I'm saying? That's perfecting the art and the skill, versus someone is just bigger, stronger, faster, and just getting by off his athleticism. And then I'm gonna develop some type of 3-point shot my last 4 years in the league. It's not the same. You can't go by the numbers only. So I'm gonna share this stream link in the comments. There's the stream link. I'm also going to put my phone number up for you to call in. If you want to call in, call and comment. If you want to join the stream, you can cut your camera off if you want to. You don't have to bring your camera on. But join the stream. Let me know what you think about the BRON-Language. Blame and bash. Repeat everything they hear on TV. Overly sensitive, and they go by numbers only. That's BRON-Language. That's how you spot a bronsexual, and those are the people you stay away from in the basketball debate. All right, let's go. Call in. Let me get some of these comments real quick. A lot of LeBron fans don't or never have hoop. That is true. Like I said, a lot of them are football players. A lot of them are nerds. It just is what it is. I mean, look at their leaders: Nick Wright, Shannon Sharp. What's the other one? Colin Cowherd. It just is what it is. They can talk stats. That's why they go numbers only, Mike. That's the only way they can relate to the game. They can't relate to it by talking about the things I just talked about. They're not going to talk about mid-range. They're not going to talk about come off of no pin down screen for a catch and shoot, or no floppy, or no flare. They're not going to talk about all of that. They're not going to talk about the post game. They're not going to talk about all the levels of scoring that you must master. LeBron mastered in the paint, and that's pretty much it. And passing. I mean, he's just getting by off being 6'9", and fast and big and strong and being able to jump. They don't know the intangibles. You're right. Nick Wrong is so emotional. Nick Wrong is so emotional that I want to make him public transport Barker here in my country. All right, so let me see who we got in here, man. Marvin, what's up, man? Are you here to speak Bron language? Are you here to speak Bron language or what?
Come on, Mel. You know me. You know I'm a Bulls fan.
What you think about Bron language? Tell me.
Well, you know, man, I don't like bashing no players, man. But you know, I just say nothing bad about Bron fans, but they're the younger generation. They think differently about the game, man. You know. But if they want to know, they just go back and look at the history and look at the stats, and you can look at the way that LeBron conducts his business, the way he go about winning.
But so why do they like to bash LeBron's teammates though? Or why do they like to blame him or bash him?
Well, you mean who? The fans?
Yeah, LeBron, the Bronsexuals, when they speak Bron language, they blame and bash.
You call them the Bronsexual. See, you hurting their feelings already, Bill. I have no idea why they would want to blame the fan. I mean, blame the rest of the team, man. I mean, you know.
But they do. You heard them do it though, right?
Yeah,
I have examples. They all over the page. I have examples. They would tell you that the reason why LeBron didn't win all 10 of those rings is because his coaching and his teammates. Wade knees was bad. Bosh was weak. AD kept getting hurt. AD was soft. J.R. Smith don't know basketball. He didn't have court awareness. Kyrie Irving is I mean, I don't know what they say something about Kyrie in Cleveland. I mean, they have all these excuses that what they blame and bash his teammates and even his coaches. That's what they do.
Yeah, I was just on a show last night, Flight Sports, and there was some youngsters on there that was talking about Bron and comparing him to Mike. And I just don't go too far with him, man. I let them, keep thinking that, if you look at LeBron's stats this year, he averaging the most shots attempts ever in his career to get this ring.
He trying real hard. Chris, tell me, man, have you heard or witnessed Bron language before in your life?
Every day anybody says anything against LeBron in the mad
Yeah, they get kind of mad, man. So y'all gotta be careful. They might be looking for us.
It's so bad, and it's like you have people who are basketball fans, and they either have their own respective team or their own favorite player, whether it be Steph or KD or whoever.
Right.
And then you have LeBron fans,
right,
who throw everything out the window, and it's just Bron all the time. It's like Bron is so amazing. They're the ones I like to call, like, if ESPN puts up one of those bullshit stats, LeBron is the first person in NBA history to dribble 10 times with his left hand with his back into the hoop. They'd be like, that's GOAT shit. That's GOAT shit. Like,
and you can. It's easy to see them because, like you said, I don't even know I don't even know if LeBron fans like basketball, right? They don't have a team. They go wherever LeBron go. Like, they literally go wherever LeBron go, and if they like any other players other than LeBron, is only players that's playing with him. And if you leave LeBron like Kyrie did, you become public enemy number one.
Mm-hmm.
And if you compete against LeBron and you beat him, you also become public enemy number one. I haven't met too many LeBron fans that like Kawhi or Paul George or KD or Kyrie or Steph Curry or the Warriors.
Because they're the biggest threats to his legacy.
Right.
Any threat to LeBron's legacy is public enemy number one. Anybody who decided to leave LeBron is public enemy number two. And if you happen to be part of both, you're dead to LeBron fans. And it's so crazy because people will be like, oh, well, Kyrie better be thanking LeBron because without LeBron, Kyrie wouldn't have a ring. What?
That's Bron language. That's Bron language.
Kyrie was putting up the same numbers Bron was in that series.
He was.
And without that shot, we don't have a 2016 Cleveland Cavaliers championship team.
No.
And then another thing about the Bron fans, they love to, y'all Y'all love to hate on this man, and y'all got to see what he's doing off the court. Don't care what he does off the court. He's a great man off the court. That is fantastic. That does not translate to the GOAT of basketball.
It doesn't. But they would use that to get you to stop talking about them. They're overly sensitive, and they use their sensitivity to try to trigger you or try to shame you into not talking about him. They're coming, like, you know, as soon as I posted this live feed, somebody came in, you know, my boy Raheem came in the comments and was like, "This is why I don't take you seriously."
Yeah,
because a post like this. So you mean to tell me you don't take me seriously not because of the content is false or true. You don't take me seriously because of the post is talking about LeBron. So in order for you to take me seriously, I have to talk about LeBron the way you want me to talk about him. I can't critique him. I only have to say good things about him. Pretty much, I got to be a Bronite or a Bronsexual. Dino, what's up?
Fellas, what's going on? How we doing?
What's going on?
Hey, what you have you ever heard or encountered someone speaking BRON language?
Yeah, man, I have actually.
We got a mutual friend that do it, you
know. Now, coming from a Heat fan, right? It's rough for me to talk down without also speaking of the great that LeBron did for us, right?
Right.
A lot of the times, things go missed when talking about LeBron on the Heat because of the Ray Allen shot, right? But people forget LeBron scored like our last 14 straight to even put us back in the game, you know?
Right.
But I get what you mean. I get exactly what you mean when you're talking about the BRON language, right? Nobody talks about footwork in the post anymore. Nobody talks about reading off the screen anymore, things like that. Only thing we talk about is stats, and it's just like you said, it's because that's what's being portrayed on the major sports channels, ESPN, NBA networks and stuff. It's all Bron this, Bron that. So I kind of feel like Bron fans kind of did it to themselves, right? Because even before LeBron got into the league, what were we hearing? The chosen one. Oh, he's going to be the greatest ever.
Right.
You know, I don't think LeBron brought that upon himself. I think the fans did that to him.
Right.
You know, yeah, so LeBron never really got a fair chance. You know, say again, I'm sorry.
But how's his actions nowadays? How is he acting now towards the end of his career? He's almost doing something that's unheard of, just intentionally chasing records, man. Not trying to win.
Right. I mean, everybody has their own reasons for playing, right? We seen Carmelo get creamed when he told people that he's not playing for a ring, he's playing for the money.
Right.
You know, so it just everybody plays for their own reasons. Do we like it? No. Do we have to accept it? No. But you know, just everybody has their own reasons for playing. I think LeBron is actually not chasing championships. He's just chasing that longevity. Nobody's going to be able to say they played with their son other than LeBron, and I think that's what he wants.
Yeah.
Well,
go ahead, Marvin.
I believe that's a different story. I was just going to say, and then I'll let you guys. I'm not going to get off and let you guys talk. I mean, if you go by stats, LeBron's career, he's averaged 27, 7 rebounds, 7 assists. Jordan averaged 30 points, 6 rebounds, and 5 assists.
Right.
If you just go by stats, you know who to go with.
Sure. But
absolutely.
But when you let mainstream media, or what I like to call LeBron James media, when you let them tell it, 27, 7, and 7 is well rounded, but they never talk about the fact that Michael also was getting 6 rebounds and 5 assists. Like that's just right there, but also scoring more. And also
he's on the number one defensive squad every year.
Right. So it's so different, but the way they tell it is that, yo, man, I mean, you know, LeBron's gonna be top 10 in scoring, assists, and rebounds, and nobody else is on that plateau like that. But I'm like, look, dude, if you play 20 years, you're gonna get there if you're really good. If Magic or Michael played 20 years, they would have got there. It's just weird the way they talk about it. Like it's like, you know, you you don't have to eclipse me as a player. You just got to get the numbers. I can be a better player than you, but if you play long enough and just get the numbers, then automatically you to go. It don't work like that, man.
I think
LeBron language is a real thing, man. I really want some Bron fans. Like, we haven't had any LeBron fans brave enough to actually come on the show, man. And I'm gonna keep doing this show, and I'm gonna keep calling out his BS until I get at least one of y'all to come on the show. Like, you can't duck all the smoke and then jump on every post and start typing with your little Twitter fingers and talking trash and not come and actually let me see your face or hear your voice. Like, you have to show up, stop being punani, and come out here and listen.
I'll tell you some more fire you can have for him. Let him know if I'm not here. Ask him, have LeBron ever averaged 30 points a game for 7 straight years in the NBA? Because Mike did.
No, or 10 scoring titles in a row.
Yeah, but that 30 points a game for 7 straight, that's almost unheard of.
That's tough, and especially in that era. People having a hard time getting 30
down. You know, I mean, he averaged 28 in 85, and in 93, he was averaging 32.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you know, it can go back and forth. You know, but one thing, the reason I don't really argue with him much is because they just didn't see Jordan. Most of the young guys who like Bron, they really didn't watch Jordan.
Well,
but if you don't see something, you don't know if it's better or worse, you know?
Right. But here's the catch to that, though. Most LeBron fans haven't even seen LeBron. They don't watch basketball, bro. I just told you, it's Bron. They don't watch basketball, man. They don't. I had to tell some of them about last night's game. They didn't even know he had 56, so I posted. They don't watch the game. They don't watch basketball, bro.
That's because the Lakers are losing. That's because the Lakers are losing right now.
Ask any Bron fan who was his number 2 for the first 7 years, and they can't tell you who it was.
They probably couldn't tell you. They would probably say Wally Zerbiak.
Boy, Mel, you hell, boy.
I'm gonna say Big Z.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Big Z and Mo Williams. Mo Williams was the All-Star.
Yeah.
Actually, both of them made at least one All-Star. Big Z made an All-Star before his feet start going bad. You know, he had Big Z was a top pick. He was really good, and like very good. He was a taller version of Pau Gasol, but you know, I mean, he was good, but he kept having foot surgeries. His feet was bad, kind of like I think that's what Bo going through right now. He can't get his feet straight.
I hate it for him, man. That's so much potential right there.
Yeah, and they done traded the kid too, man. Denver gave up on him.
Is that the same thing that happened to Yao? Yao had feet issues too, right?
Yeah, but Yao he had that Liz Frank injury, which you can come back from, but when you 7'7" and 300 pounds like Yao was, man, once he started having them foot surgery, that was a wrap, man, because he was just gonna keep breaking his foot. There was no way he can support all that weight. But Big Z was able to come back from that and play, but it slowed him down a whole lot. Kind of like a lot of people didn't know that Vitas Sabonis was like really good. He could have been like one of the best centers ever. But he had several knee surgeries before he was able to get over here to the States. You know, he had a career overseas. He got drafted, but he didn't, you know, back then it was kind of harder to clear those players to come over here. So they'd get drafted and they won't show up for another 4 or 5 years. You know, it was real hard. So Arvidas was stuck over there for a while. And by the time he actually came over here to the team that drafted him, he was already like 35 with like the worst knees on earth. You know what I mean? So, but you know what I mean? It was some good centers out there.
I think you can have some bullets with him also if you just mention to him, you know, in a nice way, Mel, because you be making him mad. So take it easy on him, man. Just let him know. LeBron averaged 30 points. LeBron averaged 30 points a game in 2008, but that's the only year he averaged 30 points his whole career, and he averaged 30 points on the dot that year. Every other year he's under 30. Well, no, he averaged 31 in 2005. So he averaged 32 times in his career. Yeah. Jordan did it 7 straight years, and I ain't including the rest of the years.
And he did it with ease too. He did it with jump shots.
I mean, I can halfway understand why they talk about it because he has been good in this era. And
yeah,
if
LeBron's
you
good.
just look at, but see, I can't even imagine Mike playing against him.
Okay, thanks,
Two
Coach.
different eras of basketball.
Hey, thanks, Coach. He said Soviet officials wouldn't allow him to come over to the States at that time. Yeah, so it took a minute for him to be able to get cleared for that. Yeah, appreciate that, bro.
There's a question, Mel. How would Mike and LeBron play against each other?
How would they play against each other?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good question. What era?
Well, in their prime. And both of them in their 5th year.
Both of them in their 5th year, man. That'd be tough, man. Let's say this. Let me see if I can think of another wing player that had that type of size that MJ had to deal with. MJ didn't get he didn't get a chance to go head to head with Len Bias as a pro, but Len Bias in college had that body and that frame of LeBron with the same type of speed, power, leaping ability, and it was a good matchup. It was a real good matchup. Len Bias and MJ.
I don't think we would find nobody with the weight, but as far as the athleticism, I think Dominique was one. But with the weight, see, LeBron had weight. He had weight, and I don't think Mike.
But as a rookie, LeBron's body was similar to Len Bias. That's what I'm saying. If Len Bias would have actually got to Boston a year or two later, he would have filled out like LeBron.
And he averaged 20.9 in his rookie year, LeBron.
And he could actually shoot the jump shot, the mid range. Len Bias probably would have. I mean, the GOAT debate probably would have been Len Bias and MJ if Len Bias would have been able to make it to Boston.
And one more thing, the highest he ever averaged in the playoffs were in 27. He averaged 27 points a game with Cleveland in the playoffs one year.
Right. And MJ, his highest average was what, 35?
Let me look at that one up. Hang on.
Yeah, I think it was about 35. BRON-Language. So which one, Chris and Dino, which one y'all dealt with the most out of all the BRON-Language? The blame and the bash, the repeating what they hear on TV, the overly sensitivity, or the numbers? Which BRON-Language did you mostly get?
I think for me, I've dealt mostly with it's a combination of the overly sensitive and the blame and bash.
Who do they blame and bash the most for LeBron's failures? It's never LeBron though.
No, it's let's see.
I know they blame the whole Warriors.
It's a lot of KD going to the Warriors. J.R. Smith.
They blamed J.R. Smith for their whole series. They said if they could have got that game one, then
they would have had their foot in the door, right? But because they lost that game one because of J.R., that lost the series right there.
The whole series.
I'm trying to think what they blamed the last year in Miami for. Because it is never
Wade's knees. They blame Wade's knees. They said D Wade was washed.
It's never LeBron. LeBron is, well, look at the numbers. Well, he was averaging 40 in the playoffs, or you know,
it's not his
he had the chase down block on Iggy, or you know, all this other, or look at the buzzer beaters he had in the playoffs in Cleveland and blah 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 blah. I was like, okay, but
I got you.
What was it, Marvin?
All right, the lowest Mike ever averaged in the playoffs was his first year, 29.3. The highest was 43.7. Every other year after that, he averaged over 30. And
well, that's kind of inflated because that's the series he went nuts against Boston. And I think he scored 63 against Boston. And then the first round, yeah, but the first round was only 3 games. So he only had to go nuts for 3 games, and I think he got swept.
Well, he averaged, I'm going to call the numbers out to you guys. 29, 43, second year. 35, 36, 34, 36, 31, 34, 35, 31, 30, 31, and 32. Bro, 30s in the playoffs.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Dino, come on, man.
Yes,
Stop playing with him, man. 29 was 20. 29 was his
I
lowest.
just ran in the store. I just ran in the store. What I missed?
this man said, read off MJ's playoff averages
to you
again.
one more time. All right, I just said the highest that LeBron ever averaged in the playoffs was 27.8. All right, Jordan's lowest ever in the playoff was 29.3. And each year, these are the years. First year was 29.3. Second year, he averaged 43, 35, 36, 34, 36, 31, 34, 35, 31, 30, and 31 and 32. Each year, 11 straight years.
And never missed the playoffs from it. He came in as a rookie, made the playoffs, never missed it while he was with the Bulls. He didn't miss the playoffs.
I ain't read off his assists and rebounds. He was averaging 7 rebounds. He averaged 6.4 and 4-point rebounds in the playoff.
That's crazy. Well, hold on. Hey, so to go, you must have just got here and joined, right? And look, he ain't even been here the whole time. Look
already hit it. Already hit it.
That's the number one thing. That's the number one thing of BRON-Language. BRON-Language, they use blame. They blame and bash LeBron's teammates, coaches, and even his opponents. That's part of BRON-Language. They blame, they repeat, they're overly sensitive, and they go only numbers. That is BRON-Language. Hey, that's crazy, man. I don't even know him.
Mel, I just the other day in the group, we was talking about because you had said something about the Lakers because I think they had just got beat, and we we had a mutual friend come in, and I told Dino this because I had commented with you, and I was on the phone with Dino at the time, and I told him, I was like, watch, he about to say something about the net. He about to say something about the net. And sure enough, as soon as I said what I said, I was like, the Nets still got a better record than the Lakers. Oh, did the Nets just win? I'm like, yo, like,
hey, look, you know what I want though? I need him specifically to come on because I like talking trash with him. I mean, I really love talking trash with him, man. Like me and him met the first. Look, Dino, you remember the first time me and him met, and we was going back and forth about who was the ugliest? You know what I mean? On the mess decks. Yeah, that was my first time meeting him. And y'all was on the mess decks eating. But I like going back and forth a little, bro, man. So
yeah, he funny with it sometimes, man. I feel like if there was to ever be somebody who got a LeBron portrait tattoo, it would probably be him.
He might get it. Man. He's now a Lakers fan, man. He wherever LeBron went.
I can respect that because like, I guess I'm kind of the same thing with Kevin Durant. I mean, I'm always gonna be an OKC fan. That's my favorite. But of course, I'm gonna follow and watch Kevin Durant wherever he goes because that's my favorite player.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But
right.
LeBron fans take it to like a whole other level where like, oh, you know, it's Miami Heat Nation, blah 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 for 4 years, and then as soon as he went back to Cleveland, you know, hometown kid is back. You know, always been a Cavalier fan. I never burned my jersey. And then he in the Lakers and it's like, oh man. And then somebody even told me, man, he was the greatest Laker ever.
No.
Somebody told me that LeBron was the greatest Laker ever.
Who said that?
Now, one thing they can say.
This wasn't in the group. This was one of my friends on my own page. But he said that his words was LeBron is the greatest person to wear a Laker uniform.
What? Man.
And I was like, bro, you gotta be fucking shitting me, bro.
Yeah. Now, one thing they do have on their side, Mel, LeBron has the most playoff wins, 174, but he didn't play the most games too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's
now, playoff wins to me wouldn't bold as serious because if you know a lot of teams when you had a real good team they might have swept somebody. Right. So you know you didn't play as many games, you know, and then longevity has a lot to do with that too. He's been in the league.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of these little things they make up like the most playoff wins. I mean that ain't even telling me something. Like did he win the championship? I don't care about the playoff wins. That just means he went to the playoffs a lot and played a lot of games because they was going to game 7s. Almost like when they say, yeah, he passed Michael Jordan, but it took him an extra 3 years to pass him. And they be like, oh, but he did it in 100 less shots. Idiot. All that means is he shot more free throws and threes. Come on, man. Stop playing this mental judo. And you know, like, I mean, it's just like hard to talk to them, man, because they don't really talk basketball, man. They talk some other stuff, some lawyer. I mean, I don't know what it is they trying to do, man. They trying to feed me pork chop and tell me I'm eat chicken, something crazy like that. Coltrane said in 1993 finals, the Bulls and the Suns both averaged about 106 points a game. MJ was averaging 40 points for that series. I think he had 4 straight games with 40. He was going nuts in that series for sure. But this is another thing I wanted to add. I want to give LeBron kudos for his 56 piece last night. It was crazy, but he hit 6 threes last night. When Michael Jordan was with the Wizards, he was 38 years old. He scored 51 points. Guess how many threes he hit in that game?
2.
0. 51
Kinda
points.
Like
no threes.
That's a crazy stat.
At 38.
50, how much? 51?
51 at the age 38 with no threes.
No threes.
None.
Now, another thing I just want to say, Jordan is all-time leader in playoffs as far as points per game. He averaged 33.4. You wouldn't guess who's second. I want you guys to see it.
Larry Bird?
Nope. Allen Iverson. 29.7.
Wow.
And Kevin Durant is third, 29.5. Jerry West, 29.13. Now, they're doing it within the list I have here, they're doing it within the last 5 years, I think. No, 10 years. Donovan Mitchell is 5th. LeBron is 6th at 28. And,
Buckets,
you know, Mel, your buddy's on here, Anthony Davis, 27.
My buddy.
Anthony Davis.
Man, that's amazing, man. Hey, Chris, you said I ain't blocked this good enough.
No, you didn't.
Say, come on, Mel, don't start, man.
Hey, look, man, I'm about to go ahead and I just wanted to get on here, man, and tell y'all about BRON-Language, man, so y'all can avoid these senseless debates. When you see someone speaking BRON-Language, just stop talking to them and go find someone who knows how to play basketball, so you can talk and debate basketball with them and start debating numbers and all this cliche stuff like bigger, stronger, faster, and all this crazy stuff, man. That junk don't belong in no debate when we're talking about basketball. So we'll let the Brownites go and talk with Brownites, and then people that want to really talk basketball can skip the BRON-Language, and we can get straight to the basketball and discuss some real sports, man. But I appreciate y'all coming out here and joining me, man. And then let me know what I should do next, man. What the next video I should do? Let me know, man.
Hey, I tell you what I suggest is this, man. Why don't you do a video by numbers? That way they will come on, and then you can really run the numbers up for them. You know what I mean? Video comparison by numbers.
They're not going to come because they can't talk to me face to face and Google what they want to talk about at the same time. It's easy to do it when they responding on a group chat or on a Facebook group. They can go to Google real quick and come back and sound smart. But when you're on the fly and I'm asking you these questions,
yeah, you're right. They can't write. Before you go, I just wanted to say this: Rick Barry did average 33.4 using the ABA though, and Julius Doctor had he averaged 31, and George Gervin 25. So now there's 3 more players that averaged big time points in the playoff, but they was in the ABA. So appreciate
going
it.
once, going twice, man. Still some people in here watching, man. If you're Brownites, man, you can still join them. Hold on, maybe they didn't see the link. Let me put the link in there real quick. I'm gonna get him about 1 or 2 minutes, man. Chris, tell me something good while I wait 1 or 2 minutes to see if somebody go join. I really want somebody to come and talk to me about LeBron, man. I'll be nice, I promise.
The Clippers getting their ass kicked right now.
That's what I was just going to say, Chris. let's talk about the Knicks. They winning 74-49. Man, it's gonna storm in Dallas tonight, baby.
But keep in mind, they popped the stat up that just said that the Knicks have lost the last 3 games. They was up by 20+. So I'm too impressed.
They better not lose this damn game. If they do, I'm flying to New York tonight.
They playing Dallas?
No, they playing the Clippers in LA.
Oh yeah. They clapping them cheeks.
It's 74-50 right now with a quarter and a half to go. But the Knicks are known for blowing big leads, man.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. What y'all think about how bad the Nets playing, man?
It's coaching and the fact that they haven't had all the personnel all season. So you kind of asking this team to be like, all right, here's a goulash of things, turn it into a 5-star meal and win a championship. But you ain't got a good cook and all the meal is mirrors. So it's like it's like what am I supposed to do with this? You know what I'm saying? So you got Katie, who was out for extended period of time, Kyrie, who's part-time, and then you had your whole James Harden issue, and now you got a player that's not playing yet, who's not cleared to play.
They got too many obstacles, man. Too many obstacles.
Yeah. Mel, was that me and you who debated that situation about Ben Simmons? I told everybody, man, something is wrong with that cat, man. It's up top. It's in his head, bro. Something is wrong with him. He by now he should be on the court, right?
I think so.
It's his back. It's his back right now.
It's a back injury.
It's not. And Kevin Durant said
that back injury for 2 years. He's been out almost 2 years now.
No. This is more of a recent thing.
This is more so this year. Yeah, this is this year.
Because Kevin Durant,
he injured his back, but he didn't want to. Something happened where, and this is what. Remember, Mel, I think you went live and we was talking about it. Something going on in Philly internally that we can't see.
Well, why would
if he's bringing up?
Why would Brooklyn take that deal then? That don't even make sense.
Because what would you rather have? Somebody who wants to play basketball or somebody who doesn't?
Listen, he ain't playing either.
It's not that he don't want to, though. It's that there was a dynamic in Philly that wasn't good. And now it's got me thinking. What if this back issue has been a thing since the playoffs last year as to why he wasn't playing so good?
Well, I'm gonna say this though, Chris. Okay, if you want to use that, do it. Okay, because we knew Hart wasn't gonna play. You don't have to trade for him. You could have got any damn body in the league for Hart instead of him.
Anybody, right?
If you got a back injury, why would you go after somebody with a back injury when you could have got a Donovan Mitchell or anybody else?
Brooklyn is thinking about what fits in their system, right? Like Kyrie is more of a shooting guard when James Harden was there. They switched roles or whatever. James Harden played point, whatever. You have a point guard that's built like a power forward. So basically, you got a point forward, and he can't shoot, but he can do post-related things. He plays great defense and can still facilitate the ball. I think that's great for Brooklyn because now you can send Kevin Durant back to the 3. Right, have Kyrie play 2, play off ball, and have Ben Simmons run the floor. Right,
that's that paper game. Here we go. Look at it good on paper.
My thing is this, right? And tonight we can use tonight for an example. What does Brooklyn do against people like Jason Tatum? My man's dropped 54. Right.
Yeah.
So what that tells me is anytime they go against a prolific scorer, they're going to struggle.
Yeah.
Right. So Ben Simmons comes in, he fixes that. Now your next problem will be what? Depth. No, not necessarily at the guard or wing position, because I think you have some solid pieces there with Seth Curry, Patty Mills, right?
They deferring to Durant now.
Reggie Jackson just tried to end somebody's life.
Yeah, they deferring to Durant now. So they're not even having good games. Did we get cut off?
Like I said, man, it's just there's no cohesion in chemistry because what was it, 2 games ago? I think they played there was the game against Miami. And they said a stat. It was like this is Brooklyn's 32nd or 36th different starting lineup. Yeah. Like there's no solid chemistry with that team. And I feel like even if they do make the playoffs this year, it's gonna be an early exit because it's like, what if Kyrie still isn't full time? I mean, and then what if Ben Simmons still ain't playing? You know, it's like you still got to get Ben Simmons into the fold of the system. The longer you wait for that, the less likely it is Ben Simmons will be comfortable in that system come playoff time when that's when you really need it.
Well, Curry had 8 today, and Patty Mills had 3. They deferring to KD. He shot the ball 21 times. He had 37. But when he shoot the ball 21 times, he's taking those shots away from Curry and Patty Mills. So, I mean, you know, I still, you know, if they can get healthy, but I can tell you this, I do not believe Ben Simmons is going to be nothing. And as a matter of fact, if you look at his last game that he played, he blew the damn playoff game. He didn't play well in that game. So, I mean, I never understood how everybody felt that Ben Simmons was so good because to me, he was more, you know, he was hiding in the shadow of Embiid the whole time. And now if you get him exposed, man, it's kind of, especially if you just leave him open, he ain't never been no heavy, you know, real good shooter, you know?
I mean, but there's plenty of great players that have weaknesses. I mean, LeBron just got to being a decent shooter over the last 5-6 years, and he's been in the league 19. You know what I'm saying? So there's still video of, you know, Ben Simmons actually hitting shots. I mean, I know pickup games ain't NBA games, but if you can't shoot, you can't shoot. And that's just plain and simple. But
yeah,
there's video evidence of Ben Simmons hitting threes in a game, and like, you know, so I think the shooting ability is there. It's just something about, you know, being in the NBA setting that kind of just, you know, takes away from that. But in Philly, Ben Simmons knew he wasn't a good shooter, so he didn't try to shoot. He worked his strengths, which was facilitating or post play. And he's fast. He's fast for his size, so he can move on you. And he has great defense. He finished second in Defensive Player of the Year.
Oh yeah.
And he's been on. I think he's made all defensive team at least once, possibly twice.
But let me say this. Here's his stats. 4 years in the league. 15 points, 8 rebounds, 16 points, 8 rebounds, 16.7 rebounds, 14.7 rebounds. That's not a great player guy. He ain't never averaged over 16 points a game.
But they're not looking for him to primarily be a scorer, though.
Okay. I mean, but you knew you was bringing on this situation. He's already having problems, you know, with his mind. Now his back. And then, you know, the pressure he went through in Philly. Is he ready for it? I mean, I'm not saying he's not good. I'm just saying, if you giving up Harden, you could have gave it to any of them, to me. You know,
yeah, but
taking a chance with Ben Simmons. That's all I'm saying. I just don't see
the thing about Harden. The thing about Harden is like
being so,
he could do,
you know, so ready to get Ben
like
Simmons
he did.
when they knew he wasn't ready to play. That's all I'm saying.
But the thing about Harden is, I think he could have did Brooklyn just like he did Houston.
Playoffs in his first year, 16, 7, and 9. He almost averaged a triple-double that year. But he went down every year after that. He went to 13, 7, and 6. And then last year he was at 11, 8, and 7. So he's declining in the playoffs.
But that also shows, you know, the system and the coaching, because if the coach is not calling your number with the plays, then it's gonna be kind of hard to, you know, for you to get your stats in there. So I think Doc Rivers was primarily starting to run it through Embiid and Harris. That was his main money makers right there, and kind of was like Ben Simmons kind of fell to like the third option.
Yeah.
which can kind of play a part on your mental when you normally were part of the 1-2 punch, whether either one night you were the one or one night you were the two, but you were always in the mix, and now you got to take a back seat to two other guys completely, where you might not get your number called at all, depending on who gets hot, But I think next year in Brooklyn, man, if there's no mandate, Kyrie is full-time, KD is healthy, Ben Simmons is healthy, and they keep all the guys that they brought on, like Seth Curry, Andre Drummond, you know what I'm saying? They keep that depth. Brooklyn is definitely going to be an issue next year.
Yeah, I mean, in due time, yes. I mean, anytime you got KD on your team, you're gonna be decent. I'm just saying, to take the risk with Ben Simmons, I had said from the start, I just wouldn't take the risk with him. And you're giving up James Harden. You could have got a whole lot more to me. Well, they did pretty good in the trade if Ben Simmons pans out. I'll put it like that. Let Mel know.
They still got Seth Curry and Andre Drummond, who have been very helpful. I mean,
that's why I said, along with the other pieces, it still should work out.
Yeah.
Let Mel know I got to check out because I guess I got a call coming in. I'm going to try to check back in if he's still there.
All right. I don't even know where he went. Let me see where he went. Dino, you still there? Oh, he gone.
Yo.
What up?
Yeah. I think Dino left too. Hey, let's go ahead. I'm gonna go ahead and end it, man. This was a good one though.
For sure.
Hey, tell me what I should do next time.
I gotta think of something, man. We gotta get away from the LeBron a little bit though, because a lot of people they get up in arms about it, man.
Their feelings hurt. Somebody go find my address. But yeah, all right, man. This will be the last one unless somebody say something stupid tomorrow. Then I'm gonna hit them again. If they chill out, I'll chill out. But if they come back with some bull crap tomorrow morning, I see it on the page, I'm coming right back at them. I'm gonna leave work to do it.
Leave no crumbs, man.
Yeah. But all right, man. Peace.
All right, man.
All right.